Peace and love, and welcome to Black Diamond Worldwide Outreach. I am your founding minister, Reverend Jason L. Brooks, and I'm just so excited to bring this word to you this morning, this motivational message. I hope that as you hear it, it will activate something in you that will propel you forth into a great and wonderful resurrection moment. So we'll talk about that in just a second. What I wanted to do first off is just kind of introduce myself, where I'm from. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You can actually read my bio on blackdiamondworldwide.org and listen to our welcome video and see just a little bit about me. But I was raised in Brooklyn, New York. I went to New Life Center of Truth, which I'm still a member, and under the tutelage of Reverend Dr. Evelyn John, who, when I told her that I wanted to be a minister, she was just the happiest person on earth. But I think everyone knew that I always wanted to be a minister. I was the little kid that played church. You know, I had my trains and planes and toys and everything else, but I always just loved playing church. I've always been a geek for metaphysics and psychology and theology and just the different religions of the world. I was that kid, if you were around East New York, Brooklyn, we lived in front of the Linden houses. And every Saturday I would take, from the time I was like 3 to about 5, I would take my little desk outside and I would preach to the people walking by, and everyone was just so receptive. I would give out healing blessings and money blessings. In fact, in some circles in Brooklyn, New York, I'm still called Money. Ask about me. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. And I really believe in the concepts that I want to share. And I invite you to interact with us on our Facebook and Instagram pages. And of course, on our website, blackdiamondworldwideoutreach.com. So that's pretty much it. You know, I've always wanted to be a minister. I'm so glad to be here in this moment, in this time, and share this word with you. I believe that really the only rules are be yourself, have fun, and don't inflict yourself on anybody else, right? Do what you need to do for yourself, and everything else would fear. So during our motivational talks, this is our first one, but we're going to put our fists in the air, and we're going to affirm good words into our world. A little background on that. When I never liked going to the clubs, but you're with your friends, they want to go. So, you make it a time. And I remember this one time, this guy was wearing white sneakers to a club, which to me was made no sense. But someone spilled like a red drink on his white sneakers, and he was ready to fight this dude. And I'm just looking like, you're in a club. It's dark, people are drinking, of course something is going to happen, right? So I feel that if that man was willing to put his fists up and fight for some sneakers that he's not even, even own the company, we can put our fist up and fight for that negative energy that sometimes comes around us. So that is kind of the basis of why I like to put the fist in the air and at the top of your lungs, because if you don't yell for you, if you don't fight for you, if you don't scream for you, no one else is going to do it for you. So that's why we're going to put our fist in the air and at the top of our lungs, just affirm and speak good words into our world. Let's get straight into it. Put your fist in the air at the top of your lungs. Affirm with me. I am the resurrection and the life. Louder. I am the resurrection and the life. Today is our Resurrection Day. This is the theme for our motivational message today. And I'm so excited to share this message with you because it is really the basis of every breakthrough that we have to have in life. We have to realize that the breakthrough, the coming out, the wonderful moment, that moment of greatness, of goodness, that is the resurrection moment. But it is important to also realize that there had to be a crucifixion in order for there to be a resurrection, right? So there had to be something that we can consider negative and just something that hits our heart in such a reactive way that we can never see our way through. But I want you to know that even through those moments where you don't think that there's a way through, you don't think that there's a way out, that is your crucifixion moment. And through our affirmation, through our time together, I want us to get to that resurrection moment, that moment of pure clarity and just peace and that lightness. They call it like that cloud nine feeling, right? Just light and airy and breezy, not a care in the world, nothing weighing us down, nothing holding us back. So In order to get to those moments, though, we have to realize that the resurrection works in three parts. The first part of the resurrection is the crucifixion, because again, there has to be a crucifixion in order for there to be a resurrection. And then the second and most important part is the part of rest, right? We know that Jesus was crucified on a Friday, and he was put into the tomb that Friday evening, and he was there Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday morning until the actual point when they realized that there was a resurrection happening. So the rest part is the most important part of the process. And then, of course, the resurrection, the feeling of cloud nine, the feeling of knowing that your goals are met, your initiatives are met, your vision is seen, not just in your mind, but in the physical world, that your life is wonderful. Whatever comes to you, you can overcome it because you just have that feeling of lightness, that feeling of God within you. So let's talk about the first part now, crucifixion. Crucifixion is the moment that brings drama. First of all, the crucifixion works in two parts, right? So the crucifixion is the moment that brings the trauma in our life. And we're going to talk a lot about trauma because so many of us, we go through these situations not realizing that these are the moments that cause later on down the road the PTSD, right? So I believe that the crucifixion are the moments that those things happen to us. The moment that the situation happens, we see the betrayal, we are out of a love relationship, someone is taken from us, whether by death or betrayal, right? Someone is just removed from our life. But the crucifixion moment works in two parts. The first part is the removal part, where things are just removed from our life, removed from our world, removed from our surroundings, right? Through death or removal, betrayal, things like that. And the second part is the letting go. The things that we need to release ourselves. And sometimes it could be people, family members, it could be places, the things that we see that trigger us into a moment, or it could be the things all around us. Some people, it's amazing how we restrict ourselves, right? Some people don't go to a certain garden because they have a certain flower and they fell in love next to this flower, and now every time they see the flower, they start breaking down and they start crying, right? So we have to realize that all of these things that we're experiencing, all of these things that we have in our life are coming into our life and affecting what happens in our life. These so-called negative experience now become the thing that is the catalyst for each and everything, the thing that is the basis for each and everything that we do, therefore. So we have to really realize, what is the crucifixion moment? What is the moment that turned my life around? There's so many people that, after a death in their life is from when this person was in their life to after this person was in their life, from one experience to the next. And that's how they gauge their life. We have to really sit back and think about these crucifixion moments. Why are they so important for us? Why have they affected us in a special way? So, as we learn about the crucifixion in our lives, as we learn about these moments of death and removal and things that we have to get rid of in our life, we must know that it is okay. It is okay that those things have gone from our lives. There will be something else. There will be more love to replace that thing, more joy, more satisfaction, more fulfillment replacing that thing, but we have to let go. So let go with me. Put your fist in the air at the top of your lungs. Say with me, I let go of what I need to let go of. One more time, even louder. I let go of what I need to let go of. I release freely, and it is easy. Come on, one more time. I release freely, and it is easy. What an affirmation, because a lot of those things that we're holding on, the people that we're holding on to, oh, it's my friend, it's my cousin Pookie, it's who, it doesn't even matter. If they are not fulfilling, if they're not bringing some fulfillment, some joy into your life, if they no longer serve a purpose, they got to go. You have to have that crucifixion moment. And so we go into the next phase of it now, the rest moment. And to me, this is the most important moment of our lives. This is the single most important moment of our lives. Now, we look at the story of Jesus and we saw that Jesus, he was in a tomb, technically 3 days, right? Friday, Saturday, and then the Sunday morning. But we should never put a time limit on the rest period. The rest period is also a period of reflection, right? Our rest can go from a deep breath, having to step away from a situation and just take a deep breath, or just watch a good movie. That's what I like to do. I like to step away and watch like a half hour, either like The Jeffersons or something like that. Just something that I know will make me laugh and bring me back into that good aura, that good phase of life. But that rest period could be anywhere from a deep breath to a 2-week vacation, or a 2-month vacation, or stepping away from the situation completely. But allow yourself that moment to think. Allow yourself that moment to reset and renew and recharge yourself. We sometimes we just keep going thinking, oh, I need to do what I need to do, and this needs to be done, that needs to be done for other people. But we have to rest. The rest moment is also the aftermath. What happens after? Have you ever been in a situation, and it could be just a regular situation, like you were at a store or something like that, and somebody tried to play you, somebody tried to disrespect you, someone gave you the side eye or said something smart to you, and you didn't have a response right there. You kind of let it slide because you didn't even know how to respond. Maybe you were so shocked or just appalled that you didn't even know how to respond. And then you get in your car, or you're talking the story over with your friend, and you're telling them, and she said this, and I was like, da-da-da-da-da. But you didn't actually say it, but you were like, oh my gosh, that would have been a great comeback. If you just almost want to just rewind time a little bit, go back to that store and be like, this is what I should have said when we was talking before, And all these moments create just an energy in our lives where we feel that it kind of strips away pieces of us. At the same time, holding us down in regret, holding us down in guilt. What are these emotions? What are these emotions even doing for our lives? These guilty emotions, these I should have said this, I should have done that, I should have known, I should have seen, what I should have done. Most of the times when we're talking about these things, it deals with other people. How are we supposed to know that other people are going to do bad things to us? How are we supposed to know that other people are going to affect our lives in such a way? It's those moments where we say, do I deserve this? I've been praying, I've been faithful, I've been doing good. Even if you're not a Christian, even if you don't believe in God, but still doing good. And what is going on? This is where people question, the universal power. I've been doing good, and this is what happens to us. So that is what we have to deal with in those rest periods. It is the aftermath. It is where we stop and think about what happens next. And this is the most difficult thing that we'll ever have to face in life. Trust me, because you know why? Because we're stripping away all the negation. We're stripping away ourselves, really. Think about this, right? These situations that happen to us, really, it's those situations where people, when I do counseling with them, they say, oh, I don't want to talk about that, because if I talk about that, I'm going to break down, I'm going to start crying, I'm going to start weeping. Yeah, that is what you need to do. If there is a situation that is in your life that when it comes up, it brings feelings of discord, it brings feelings of fear and doubt, all the negative feelings that we don't want to experience, you can't put a Band-Aid on it, right? You can't just put it to the side and say, I'll deal with that later. No, it needs to be dealt with right now. And in order for us to get to a resurrection moment, that moment of freedom, that moment, it's called the ascension moment, the moment of cloud 9. Why do they call that? Because you're not restricted to anything on earth. There is no bondage to anything on earth. There is no anchors to anything on earth. You are free to fly where you want to in consciousness and thought, in life. But you can't do that if you're still holding on to the things that you're not talking about. These things can break our heart. Let them break your heart. Let them cause the trauma. Let them cause the PTSD. Just imagine there are people right now that are thinking about committing suicide. There are people right now that feel that death is a better answer. Death is better than whatever they're going through now. And that again, is the crucifixion moment as well, right? Is where the thoughts come in that people would rather you stick nails in their hands just like they did Jesus, and stick nails in their feet and pierce them in their side. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have your heart broken. The first time I had that, man, in my teenage years, of course, when your emotions are all over the place anyway. And when I had my heart broken, let me tell you something. I cried for about 2 days straight. It was uncontrollable. And it made me even mad because I couldn't control my tears. So when I see people in that depression, when I see people in those thoughts of suicide, when I see people in the thoughts of negation and limitation, and they just can't seem to get out of it, they just can't seem to find their way out of it, I get it. It's those moments of uncontrollable where the mind, body, and the actions don't do what we want them to do. Sometimes we end up crying and we don't want to do that. Then we feel even more embarrassed because we're crying. Those are not the emotions that we have to have. Let me tell you something. If that's the emotion that comes up, it's the emotion that needs to happen. If that's the trauma that comes up for you in this moment, then that is the moment that needs to happen. If that is the PTSD, you're crying, weeping, whatever it is, that is the moment that needs to happen. But guess what? I believe in you. I believe that whatever is going on in your world, you can overcome it. You can face it. There's no need to commit suicide. There's no need to throw your hands up and give up. There's no need to cry. There's no need to have these things affect you in your life, because you are stronger than that. You are better than that. And you have to have a breakdown in order for you to have a breakthrough. You have to have a breakdown in order for you to have a breakthrough. But this is the moment that you're in. And because this is the moment that you're in, I know it's for you. I know it's something that you have to overcome, because the universe would not have brought you to this moment if it was just going to leave you and go, okay, you can figure it out. You will. You will figure it out. You will do what needs to be done. So put your fist in the air and say with me, with all the power in you, even if I break down, one more time, even if I break down, I will break through. I will break through. I will break through. The things we don't release becomes the anchors that weigh us down and keep us from the complete ascension, that keep us from the complete joy and freedom and life. And the beauty about it is, I want to share this story with you because one of my favorite authors right now and speakers is Brené Brown. And I was listening to her podcast the other day, and she was talking to a woman, and she was saying that, before all this pandemic that we're going on, we got to bless that too. But she was saying that before the pandemic, she would travel all the time. And she's such an introvert that when she would travel, when she would come back home, she would need a moment of rest, a moment just to get herself together. And she said this one time she was coming back from she was traveling all over the place and finally getting to be home, and she had a couple days to get herself together. And as she was, the flight was late and things like that. And as she came home, her son had a soccer game. And she sat down and she said to the son, she said, you know what, I'm just so tired. I really need to just rest and relax, but I'll catch the next game. And the son said, okay, that's fine. And she said a couple days later, it was the son's birthday, coming around the son's birthday, and she said that he gave her a list of things that he wanted. And at the very top of his list, it said alone time. Before the toys, and he was about 10, before the toys, before the video games and everything, he wanted some alone time. And she said, talk to me about this. What is this about? And he said, I didn't know I was allowed to ask. I didn't know I was allowed to ask. And what she got from that is when she frees herself, when she does the things that she needs to do to get herself right, she frees her people. You have to understand that. Just as the analogy of when you're on the plane, right? What they tell you, when them oxygen masks come down, and I've been in that situation, it is scary. When your oxygen masks come down, you have to put on your oxygen mask before you help another person. This is life. You have to put yourself on, your true self, before you can even consider helping someone else, doing for someone else. So you got to release. You got to release what is holding you back, what is holding you down. You got to release that in order to get to your true resurrection moment. You have to deal with the things that you have to deal with in order to get to that point. So the question you have to ask yourself this morning and every day of your life, when you find yourself in those dark moments, what does my resurrection look like? What does my new life look like? What does my joy look like? What does fulfillment look like? What does health look like? You know, we're busy praying for ourselves and other people, but we're not actually saying what the fulfillment looks like. What does the fulfillment look like? Affirm with me. Fist in the air, top of your lungs. I work through what I need to work through, and I come out a winner. I come out a winner. How wonderful is that? How wonderful to know that we can go through these moments that hurt us, that kind of belittle us, that just strips parts and parts of us away. Like I said, when I first got my heart broken, it felt like, for those of you who are into X-Men, right? It felt like Wolverine. You know how Wolverine had the knives on his fist, right? It felt like those claws were out, those knives were out, and someone reached into my chest, took my heart out, and it's still connected to my body, but they were just squeezing it with the Wolverine nails and just bleeding it, and it just hurt so much that I couldn't do anything else. Friends, I know what that is. I know what you are going through. But what I do also know is that because you are at this moment, it means that you can overcome this moment. Because the universe has put you here, this all universal force, because it has put you in this moment, know that you have enough strength for this moment. Know that you have all that whatever you need, the money, the education, the knowledge, whatever you need for this moment, the love for this moment, whatever it is, believe that it is yours. Believe that as we follow the story of the crucifixion that Jesus went through and the resurrection, that it can be used for us in a good and positive way. It's all within you. And so this is why I hope that we get to these resurrection moments. Resurrection, the complete freedom. The things have been said. What needs to be said has been, and not piece. You know, we all like to, okay, I'm going to tell this person what I need to tell them, but we tell them pieces of it. That's why I like to write stuff down. I want to make sure that I say everything that I need to say, right? There's nothing left hanging in the balance. And even sometimes we go to people that we need to go to. We go to situations, but there's such a strong personality behind it that we kind of cower, we kind of back away. That is not going to get you to your resurrection. Know that the same energy that brought you to this moment will bring you all the way through. And you won't get there unless you take yourself all the way through. So that is what resurrection is. It's having those moments where all things are said. There are no secrets, there are no lies, there's no confusion, but yet there is the fulfillment of your every need. There is a fulfillment of what you need to do in your world right here. There is a completeness. Imagine that. A completeness of mind, soul, and body. That your mind is clear and free to think. You ever had those thoughts? Because let me tell you, so they say you can only think at one thing at a time. I don't know where that comes from. Because there's these situations, even you're at work and you have a situation with your parents, your kids, your loved ones, you know, whatever it is, something happened on the train today and it keeps bugging you. It keeps being at the back of your mind. Imagine being free from that. Imagine you look at your body and you say, my body is whole and perfect, every cell and organ action. Imagine you looking at the cells of your body and saying, you are wonderful, you are magnificent. Imagine living like that. Imagine living completely free. That is your resurrection moment. That is the moment that I need us all to get to. All heaviness that felt like the stone. We have the lesson in John chapter 20 when Mary ran to the tomb and she was trying to see Jesus, you know, and the stone was rolled away. There are some things that there are stones. Right? Metaphysical stones that are in the way of our complete ascension. Again, the people, places, and things that we need to get rid of. Those are the stones that are holding us away from our highest good. Those are the stones that are keeping us from our goodness, keeping us from our joy, keeping us from our life. Let me tell you something. You can roll it away today. This Bible still can't tell us how the stone was rolled away. It was angels, it was this, it was that. It doesn't matter what it is. But what I do know is that that spirit lives in you. What I do know is that everything you need lives in you. And you can have that cloud nine feeling. You can have that good feeling of knowing that, you know what? I am prospered. I am enriched. I am transformed. I am the resurrection. I am the person, the entity in this world that treats everything like I know that I'm a child of a living God, that treats everything, that treats everything in your world, knowing that you are great, that you are built for it, that you are made for it. What can stop you now? What can stop you now when you stop living small, when you stop thinking, oh, that's not for me. Oh, I was raised on the wrong side of town. No. You are in this moment. This is your moment. Live it. Fist in the air, top of your lungs. Say with me, nothing can stop me now. Nothing can stop me now. I claim my victory now. I claim my victory now. For those of you who like hip hop, you know what I was thinking when I was doing the affirmation, nothing can stop me now, that Remy Martin song, right? Nothing can stop me now because I'm all the way up, right? That's an ascension moment. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Keep affirming. Whatever you need to affirm in your world, whatever you need to go through in your world, go through it. Now, here's the last point I want to leave with you. Okay, so you know that it works in three parts. When you get these things in your life, it has to happen. It has to have that moment of crucifixion. You have to have that rest moment, which is that middle part where you can either seek revenge or you can seek a brand new life, right? And then you have that resurrection moment. But you have to be willing to do so. Jesus could have stopped his crucifixion, but he went through the process. Jesus could have stopped his crucifixion. Could you imagine? Look, if I were me, as spiritual as I am, I wanted to be a minister all my life and all this stuff. But if someone had come to me and been like, we about to crucify you. And what crime did he have, right? Even the judge that was before him, before he was crucified, he said, would you not even talk to me? He said, I find no fault in him. What is his crime? Because he didn't want to do or say what they wanted to do or say. I don't know if that could have been me. I don't know if they had put a crown of thorns on my head, gave me vinegar. Now, I do the red wine vinegar and those tablets and stuff like that, but, you know, I guess all about context. Like, I do that in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, not on the cross, ready to die. Like, that's two different contexts I'm not feeling. So, Jesus went through this. At some point, he could have stopped and been like, nah, yo, I was just kidding. Son of God, no, I was just kidding. Put that cross away. I don't need that. No, I need to, no, whatever you say I am, right? But because he was able to go through it, he was able and willing to go through the process. Sound familiar? That's what I've been talking about for the past however long. There has to be a process, and we have to be willing to go through that process. It's going to strip you away. It's going to take, but you can't take your old self into your new world. So it's going to strip you away. It's going to take everything in you, but let it. Allow the process to work, because I assure you that in that moment, you will find a resurrection. In that moment, you will see how strong you are, how brave you are, how sensible you are, how you can talk. A lot of people, that's their big thing. Well, I'm really not a talker. You trust that energy in you to speak the right words, to move in the right way, to bring the right people in your life. And as you do this, I know for sure that you are having your resurrection moment. So one more time, fist in the air, top of your lungs, and say with me, I am the resurrection and the life. One more time, I am the resurrection and the life. Friends, as you keep affirming this, as you make it your own, as you think, okay, what do I look like in the resurrection? What does that mean for me? I know for sure that you will see how this all universal force will give you the answers, will put the right people in your life, will keep you on cloud nine, will keep you in the way that you need to be kept. Keep affirming, I am the resurrection and the life, and know that it is real. I love you. Happy Easter. Be blessed.